Tonight's factoid of the day is on today's date, in 1961, the Soviet flight Sputnik 9 carried and returned from orbit a dog named, and I'm going to butcher this name, Chernushka. And they also brought some frogs and guinea pigs up there too. So I'm a big space fan and history buff, and Sputnik 9 kind of fits both of those categories. So shout out to some satellites from 1961. So without further ado, I'd like to call to the front of stage our Toastmaster of this evening. That's none other than Toastmaster Rourke.
Thank you, Edward, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to tonight's Miami chapter of the Toastmasters. Thank you all for coming. Here at Toastmasters, we come together to become better speakers, overcome our fear of speaking, learn to give critiques on speeches, and also receive them. Critiquing speeches is pretty hard, I would imagine. So let me explain tonight the format of our meetings for you newcomers. Our meetings are into three different categories. First, we have the speakers. There'll be two speakers tonight. Our first one is Tess with the 80% rule. And our second one will be Simon with his is called the special speech. Looking forward to hearing that one. Thank you. The second part is the table topics, which Mike will be heading. And that is basically comes up with topics, and you're going to give some impromptu either speeches, or it's up to him how he sets the format tonight. But it gets you to think quick on your feet and give impromptu speeches and responses. The third part is the evaluators, and there's a number of evaluators who will be evaluating all parts of the speech and the entire performance overall tonight. So there's going to be two evaluators of the speech, of the two speeches. The first one is Brajesh, critiquing Tess's 80% rule.
We switched off. I'll critique Simon.
Okay, let me do this. So Ashley.
The girl gets to do the girl.
Okay, so Ashley is going to be critiquing Tess's 80% rule. Ashley, can you come up here and tell us about what you're doing tonight?
Yes, I'm so excited. I've done this rule 2 other times. I was looking to do something different, but I love Tess so much. I'm very excited to get the chance to critique her speech, see how she's grown even since I've been here. And I will be looking for a few things: clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, interest, and if her speech is well supported. Thank you.
And Brajesh will be critiquing Simon's speech. Perhaps you can come over here and tell us what your role is tonight.
Thanks. Hi, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I will be listening to Simon's speech very carefully. I've heard him speak several times, so it will be a good opportunity for me to give him some feedback. And I'll listen to what I really liked about the speech, and also some suggestions for improvement that he can do for his future speeches, so that he can become a greater and greater speaker each time he comes. Thank you.
Next, all the speeches are supposed to be staying to a certain amount of time. So we have our timer. Our timer tonight is Ingrid.
Hi everyone. Hi Toastmaster. As timer, I will be the table topic speaker, formal speeches and evaluations. I will time them. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards that are here. I don't think so. Great. Well, at 1 minute marks, I'm going to put the green card and then the following ones after that. Thank you.
Next, we have our awe counter tonight. That will be Teresa.
Hello, Toastmasters and guests. My name is Teresa. I will be the all counter, and I will know all the words and sounds are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During this meeting, I will be listening for overused words including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds including I will also know when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I. This means at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker has used these expressions. Thank you.
Lastly, we have Christabella, who's going to be our grammarian and also give us our word of the day.
Hi all Toastmasters. So as grammarian, I will be noting language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, also it is my duty to provide the word of the day, which is ingratiate, which means to gain favor or acceptance by deliberate effort. So an example of using the word is, as the new girl in school, Emma quickly ingratiated herself with her classmates through her charm and wit. Thank you.
So we also have tonight a joke master, Simon. Maybe we should start the meeting with a little joke. Simon, do you want to come up here and share your latest?
So there's this person that he had this idea that he wanted to shrink himself. So he didn't know where to go. So then he found, he was researching online, and then he went to a health clinic, and he said, you know, I want to shrink myself, I want to shrink my body. So where did they refer this person to?
The shrink.
Yeah, the shrink, the psychologist, that's it.
Always very funny, Simon. I'm trying to ingratiate myself.
Yeah.
So let's start this evening with our first speaker, Tess, if you'd like to come up here, and we'll hear the 80%.
Has any one of you heard of the 80% rule for eating?
No.
It is what the people in the Blue Zones practice on a regular basis. The Blue Zones, if you haven't heard about them, are regions in the world where the inhabitants are 10 times more likely to live till the age of 100 than Americans. They also have some of the lowest rates of diseases, from stroke, cancer, and heart disease. There has been a lot of research carried out on these people and their lifestyle. One of the traits that these experts believe is responsible for the incredible longevity and health of the people living in the Blue Zones is the 80% rule. At meal times, they would eat mindfully. They would stop eating when they're 80% full. This practice can prevent overeating, weight gain, and avoid chronic illnesses. When we start eating, it takes about 20 minutes for our brains to send out signals of fullness. The 80% rule might lead you to eat less, so you will be more in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. You will eat more in line with your body's needs, so you are not in a calorie surplus above what you need to be healthy, active, and thriving. The 80% rule is useful. It instructs you to eat until you're slightly full, so that you don't get to really bloated state of fullness that sends you to food coma when you feel that you need to go and have a nap. Think about your stomach saying to your brain, I have so much food in me, it's really uncomfortable. Why do you do this to me every time? And your brain says, well, that's how long it takes for me to start working, just the way it is. And the way that you feel uncomfortable is not really my problem. Speed also contributes to mindless overeating. Slow down while you're eating. Give your body a chance to register how much you have eaten. If you eat quickly, stop when you feel that you are 80% full. You might actually be 100% full, not knowing that your body has not caught up with your mind. To help with this practice, it's useful to look at portion control. My professor at NYU published a book on portion size over a decade ago. She was concerned about the portions in fast food restaurants getting bigger and bigger. In my humble opinion, portion size is the biggest challenge this country has over the obesity crisis. I have people saying to me, I eat healthily all the time. Healthy food has calories too. So what are some of the things you can do to control portion size? When you are home, use smaller plates. Cook and put some away. Or cook less. You are not going to die of malnutrition if you eat less. A quote from John Kenneth Galbraith is very appropriate. More people in the United States have died of too much food rather than of too little. In restaurants, share your courses or just order one main course. It happened to me the other day. I went out and had breakfast with my friend. Usually I would be home, have a simple bowl of cereals, but what happened? I ordered too much food and I couldn't eat it all. My eyes were bigger than my stomach. Try out the 80% rule and see how you feel. Remember, if you're motivated to get healthier, in order to improve your well-being, it is a process. And the journey begins with one simple step. Thank you.
Thank you, Tess. Very good, very informative once again. Our next speaker is Simon with the special speech.
So this speech is actually, Brajesh gave me the inspiration to do it. He said I should just come on stage and rap. So I'm a Toastmaster. Sometimes I was an actor. I do a little bit of rapping on the side. And I'm gonna walk instead of taking a ride. I used to take a lift and sometimes I give a tip. But when I don't, I run away, I have to dip. Then I keep going to the next place and I order something that'll stuff my face. Then I go and I wanna have a drink. And I want to have soda, but I want to live healthy. Should I care what people think? So I just order some water and start going on a jog and go to the beach, see how far I can reach. Let me see if I can get to South Point Park after dark. And there's somebody there with a cigarette asking me for a spark, but I don't smoke. So I just tell him a little joke, and then I have to go on my way. And I know I have to have some records to play. I have to go to a studio and just keep on busting my flow. Just so you know, I can keep on going for a long time. And I'm trying to work hard, accumulate those dimes, and make sure that I always rhyme. And that's not a crime, so I can keep on going with no stop sign. and it's so fine. At least that's what I think. And I'm planning to go some other place in a couple of days, and I hope that I can see my friends, and I know that they're always real to me. They never pretend, and I can see them straight to their face. They don't have a colored lens, so I can see as it that they feel, and me and them go and chill, and we can just be together. We don't need to pop a pill. We can just do things that are healthy hobbies, and then come back to my place, my home, and we can watch some YouTube and just chill, not need to have to think about what's going on next. And that's about it. No, it's not. I've just got started. And what's on next on my mind? You know, I like to go on and grind, think about what. No, I'm done. Thank you.
Very entertaining, Simon. Thank you. So next we're going to move on to our table topics. So I'll invite Michael up here to present his table topic.
Alright guys, I have some very interesting table topics questions for you guys today. So anyone wants to volunteer first, raise your hand. Alright. So I have to ask you, what are your biggest challenges you have faced this last year, and how did you overcome them?
My biggest challenge has actually been a financial one. I started my business in 2020. I started making good money, about $1,000 a day for about 2 years. I invested all that money in crypto, and I made a couple $100,000. But my biggest challenge so far has been that, obviously, anyone who follows crypto knows that we're in a bear market. So I took a huge, well, I haven't sold, so I haven't taken any losses. But it's been challenging on my mind because for a long time I thought value as a man was what we have, what we possess, the amount of money we have. And so this year, I've had to learn that that's not all I have to offer. So it's been a big challenge because I was dreaming, well, I'm still dreaming to do big things with my life and be able to help other people. But now it seems that I have to rebuild my portfolio, pick it up from the ground up again. But if I did it once, I can do it again. So my challenge this year has been that. Recognize that my value is not in the possessions that I have. It's just in the way I treat people, how I care for people. And I'm just gonna keep on going, rebuild my portfolio, and then this time around I'm gonna take it to millions. And I'll probably lose that too, but then I'll take it back to 100 million, who knows? So yeah, that's my challenge so far this year.
That was very inspiring. Who is next?
I'll go next.
All right.
Why not?
All right. My question for you is, if you could change one thing about the world, what would it be and why?
One thing to change about the world and why? That's a good question. You got me stumped. One thing to change about the world. Well, we live in a good time where everyone has access to information. We're in a library now, and my mother was a librarian from age 15 to 64. And I grew up in libraries. And the ability for us today to have access to any information we want on the internet is the greatest gift humanity has ever had. Because the information that we can see now on our phones is more than anyone else has ever accessed in the last 2,000 years. But it's not for everyone. There's still parts of the world that don't have good internet access, that don't have electricity, that don't have running water. And if only they had a little bit of access to that knowledge that the rest of us have access to, they could do so much. They could have big impacts on everyone in their lives, they could have big impacts in their community, and it's so cheap. So if there's one thing I could change about the world, it would be getting greater internet access to people all around the world so that they can just touch that information that will improve their lives, improve the people around them, improve their communities, and lift them up. So one thing I would change.
That was amazing. All right, who wants to go next? You want to go? All right.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. So tell me a quote that changed your life and how.
Do you have another question?
I do.
I'm sorry.
No
You have
worries.
this second thing.
What's your biggest fear, and do you ever think you could overcome it, and how?
My biggest fear is not being able to show people how much I love them. A lot of times in our society, the way we grow up, I feel, along with our great information age that has come forth upon us, it's connected us in many ways that we haven't had access to for a lot of time. But at the same time, it's also disconnected a lot of people. Because of that, I feel a lot of people are stranded, including myself sometimes. Not all the time. I have good friends that I hold dear to my heart, and that's very important to me. I hope everybody experiences that. However, it took a long time for me to figure out how to communicate love and friendship with my dear friends, and how to take care of people in a reasonable way. A lot of people don't know how to do that, and some people receive it wrong because they've not been used to it before. So I'm afraid that, not for myself as much, just for my generation and kids my age, that we won't be able to communicate love as well as maybe we used to generations ago.
It's very deep. Thank you so much. All right, we got 2 more questions. Anybody else wants to come up? I will call on you if you don't. Okay. So, how has living in Miami changed your life?
Well, that made me have to learn Spanish, and so it made me have to learn different languages, and I even know some like Creole. I know like Sapase, Mabule, Biti Biti. So just the different, hola, como estás? Like I just have to, I guess, I learn different things, so that can be a very good thing. At other times, I don't like it because, let's say, there's a language that I don't know, and then I'm always thinking they're probably saying something about me, or I just, I find it rude, like when people, there's a language I don't understand, and then they start speaking amongst themselves. But so there's good things and bad things. I learned a lot of good things too, like different. I tried a lot of different foods that I probably wouldn't have been able to try if I wasn't living in Miami because of the different cultures. So it's like literally a melting pot, and that's what I like the most, the melting pot in the kitchen, the food, and tried all the cuisine. And then also, because of living close to the beach, I'm able to swim, and that I think is the highlight of living in Miami, just at the beach, being able to swim in the ocean, because for me, that's very different than swimming in a pool. It doesn't even come close, at least to me, to have the experience, the whole, the endorphins, the seeing all the fish, and I even saw some dolphins once, so that I think is the most, that's what I love about Miami and what's unique to Miami.
Thank you. One last person who wants to come up for the table topics. All right. So, do you want to tell me a quote that changed your life and how? Do you know a quote you can think of right now?
A quote that changed my life?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
It is a bunch.
Yes.
Okay, so what is something that you've learned to appreciate in the past few years, and how has that changed you?
Actually, quote that changed my life. It happened just last week, actually. Something Simon said. He said, it was a quote that you borrowed from Mother Teresa, saying, if you are able to feed one, it's better than trying to feed 100.
Right, if you can't feed 100, feed one.
If you can't feed 100, feed one.
Yeah.
And so that quote changed my perspective, changed my life, in the sense that it made me aware of how we all have something to give. food is in abundance everywhere. And this year was my first time working at a grocery store. Started at a grocery store, started seeing how much food we go through as a people and how much food actually gets thrown out. And it really awakened me to the fact that people do go hungry, but it's our ability to be aware and to be conscious of how much food we go through that can change someone's life. So just that quote, what was it again?
If you can't feed 100 people, feed one.
If you can't feed 100 people, feed one, because essentially you don't know if someone is hungry. It's really hard to tell if someone is hungry. I've actually gone through a period where I was hungry. I didn't have enough food to eat. I didn't have enough money to pay for food. And on the outside, we walk around the world and everyone keeps an expression on their face of tell people to be happy, tell people to smile through the pain. At a certain point, I want to say that we have to look beyond people's expression and genuinely ask them, have you eaten today? Because that could change their day, that could change their life.
Thank you so much. That is all I have. Thank you guys for participating.
Thank you, Michael, and all the speakers and newcomers. Jumped right up. And are you sure this is your first time to?
Yeah.
No. So now to Tessa's 80% rule, which I need to follow. My problem is I eat too fast, and then I'm at 120%. So Asha would be evaluating your speech.
Yes, fellow Toastmasters. I think we all agree that Tess, first of all, she gives great topics consistently. You always have the most practical advice that we can all relate to. I think we all love that about you. Many of us have heard you speak. I think this is perhaps my fourth speech, and every time I feel your confidence more and more. And you speak so beautifully and clearly. Her voice, it carries, we can all hear her. We're not saying, what is she saying? We understand this girl. For me, I love how she started. She started with a question. When someone starts with a question, it engages us because then we have to think for about the answer. So the first thing you did was engage us. I think that was a great way to get us to listen. You're also very effective with your eye contact. It's so wonderful when someone can just look you in the eye. And also there was one moment for me personally, I was taking notes, I looked up at her, she looked at me and she stopped and she smiled. I felt like she was talking to me. And I think that's a very effective tool as a speaker. I felt very, she was speaking to me personally. Your pauses are effective for two reasons. As a speaker and as a Toastmaster, sometimes we need to think. So she had pauses. Once in a while, I felt like she was thinking, I'm gathering my thoughts, but they were also effective because they went with your 80% rule. When she paused, I could think about everything she was saying and I could digest it. She gave us those moments that you didn't rush, so I could think about what she was saying. I thought the pauses were actually really good. There was also humor. Your mind and your body speaking to each other. I was imagining the mind and the stomach talking to each other. Your humor got me engaged as well. You smiled also when you said thriving. I wrote that down because you said thriving and then you paused and you smiled. That was beautiful. Also, she included facts. You spoke about your NYU professor, and I thought that tied it in. So it wasn't just something that she made up, this 80% rule. Is that for me? Okay, agreed. She actually had facts to back it up, and I think you had good solutions, talking about smaller plates, eating slower, waiting the 20 minutes. My very few critiques would be, I feel like you, with your hands, sometimes got a little bit stuck. It's hard to know what to do. Like, I'm holding paper right now. It's hard to always know what to do with our hands. And also, you're good about playing side to side, feel like if you would take a moment and come forward or go back, it might engage us a little bit differently. Using the forward and like the depth of the space, I think that's a good technique for all of us to think about. I had one more thing that I wanted to say, but I do believe you also wrapped it up beautifully. At the end, she came back to, so maybe we could all try this 80% rule. She really tied the whole thing from beginning to speech to middle to end. Fabulous, wonderful. I'm so proud of how I've seen you grow since we've been here. Thank you.
Now for Simon's special speech, Rajesh will be, might understand you're gonna wrap the evaluation.
I might need ChatGPT to create a rhyme for me because I'm not a rhymer. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, most especially Simon. I love when Simon comes up here because I never know what to expect. And I was really happy that I was able to inspire him to give that speech for us. And my favorite thing about Simon, what I absolutely love about him, is that he's fearless. He can just keep going. I'm sure he could have kept that rhyme going for a little bit longer. And I think that wasn't memorized. I think he was creating it as he was standing up here in front of us. He immediately volunteers for table topics. He's just ready to speak whenever he wants. So I love that spirit of creativeness, of fearlessness, and he's just coming up here. It inspires me a lot. I've been in Toastmasters like 15 years, and it took me like 5 years before, I even got close to the way he just charges up and speaks. My suggestions for improvement are going to be that I would like you to ingratiate yourself to the audience. And what I mean by that is that in Toastmasters especially, we break the speech into 3 parts: an introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The speech that you gave, if you went to an open mic or a spoken word, it's perfect. That's what people come to hear. In Toastmasters, we tend to create a box of introduction, middle, and conclusion. So you gave a very short introduction. What I would love to hear from you is, what does this mean to you? Like, how did you come about rapping? And then share the rap with us. And then at the end, share something about maybe how we can do a rap, or share a personal story, because then we connect to, oh, okay, I can see how I can fit into this story. So by that, by ingratiating us, yourself to the audience, give us something that we can take home with. I really enjoyed the rap. I'm looking at the words, like, I stopped writing after a while, but side, right, place, face, drink, think, beach, reach, dark, park, joke, smoke. And it was so much fun just listening to it. So I'd love to see you talking more, and I would recommend that you add an introduction and a conclusion, and even improvise those. You don't even have to prepare those, but just remember 3 parts when you come up. And what I'm going to take away from this is it's time for me to have fun and start rapping.
And now Ingrid, if you could come up here and tell us about the timing.
Hey everyone. So Tess was 5 minutes and 50 seconds. That's within time, I believe. Simon, your rap was 1 minute and 55 seconds, so under time. The first table topic by Hugh was 1 minute and 9 seconds, so you were within time. Mark was table topic 2, and it was within time. I messed up the timer, so I think it was around 1 minute. All right. Anthony, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Simon, 1 minute and 22 seconds, both within time. Chuck, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, so a little over time. And then I actually didn't catch your name.
Ashley!
Ashley, you were 3 minutes and 11 seconds, so a little over time. And then Bayesh, you were 2 minutes and 34 seconds, so within time. Thank you.
wonderful speech. One one so. Michael, just one so. Hugo, one so, one but. Mark, one well. Anthony, 2 Chuck, 3 one so. Ashley, 1 1 and 1 so. And that's it.
And our grammarian tonight, Christabella, if you come up here and tell us how it did.
So, Rourke and Rajesh twice used the word of the day, ingratiate, so props to them. And then, the only improper grammar usage I heard was Tess used the age 10,000. I know you slipped, but I think everyone knew what you meant 100. And so my list of quotes, thoughts, words, or sayings that I liked, I love imagery. That's how I picture language a lot of the times. So Tess, there was a lot from you. In tune with your fullness cues, I really liked a lot. I like the way you were talking or describing about your mind and your brain, or your body and your mind. Where your body caught up with your mind and your eyes were bigger than the stomach. And I really liked your quote about that America, we here die from too much food versus too little of food. Simon, I liked, again, also you had a lot of imagery, stuff in my face, accumulate them dimes, colored lens, and then melting pot for your table topics. Hugo, you mentioned pick up from the ground up. Mark, touch that information. Anthony, feeling of stranded. Chuck, you reiterated a couple of I didn't have enough or tell people. Rourke, you mentioned eat too fast. Now I'm at 120%, which I really liked. Ashley felt she was talking to me and digest it. And then Rajesh, I like the little quote about ChatGPT to make a rap for myself. And then that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have our overall evaluation, our overall evaluation. Edward's going to come up here and tell me what a great job I did tonight, I think.
Well, Toastmaster Rourke, you're not off the hook yet, because you still have to close the meeting as our conductor for this evening, but the role of the general evaluator is not to analyze any specific aspect of our meeting today, but to kind of give a general overview of the meeting itself. So what's special about Toastmasters is that it not only teaches you to be a good public speaker, it not only gives you opportunities to network professionally, but it can teach you how to run an effective meeting. So we only have 1 hour together. We need to utilize that time as best we can to maximize our training, to maximize what we get out of this hour that we have. So what I've seen since I've been analyzing our meetings over the past year or so is that what we do really, really well here is that we stick to the way that the meetings are conducted. Everybody fits their roles super well here. We all know exactly what we need to do, and we all execute it really well. I'm thoroughly impressed by the performances that everybody comes up here and delivers. Not only that, but it's also the fine details that Toastmasters tries to instill on us. For example, the folks that come to the stage, they normally enter from your right, my left, to the front of the stage and shake the hand of the person who introduced that. That's excellent. That's part of the aspect of the speech. That's part of the aspect of our meetings together. The only areas that I think we could perform even better collectively as a meeting is that I noticed that a couple of folks acknowledged the timer during their speech. the timer, just like any other distraction in a speech, whether it being a crying baby or a cell phone or a lampshade falling from the sky, when you see something, you can't let it affect how you're delivering your speech. So although you may see it, giving it, acknowledging it is something that we try to work out when you're on stage performing. Another thing that I would love to see is that we have this unique space that we can use at the library. We have yet to see a speech on the stage, and there's definitely some opportunities in which folks who want to develop their charismatic performance or their acting or their stand-up comedy skills, they can utilize this stage behind us. I've been to a couple of meetings at other clubs in which the setting is more of a boardroom, because at the end of the day, Toastmasters is a place that we could practice professionalism, we can practice having a corporate speech environment, but we're in Miami Beach, and our talents are limitless because of where we live. We have this stage that gives us the opportunity to practice those sort of unique skills. So I would encourage folks for their next speech, whether it be a humor speech, whether it be inspiration, or whatever you think is most fitting, try out the stage behind us, because I think that it's something that it's unique to us, it's special to us, and it's a gift that the library gives us. So let's try to utilize it, let's try to maximize what we have here, and let's also try to see if we can get some folks to do a behind the podium style speech as well, whether it be like a political debate or pretending that you're Darth Vader on the Death Star, for example. I don't know, thinking outside the box here, but we have so many tools here, and we're only scratching the surface. So, although we're doing everything perfectly, there's always room for improvement, and I think that we're just on the edge of perfection. So, for the next speech, whoever that person may be, use what we got. And I would love to see it because it's entertaining for all of us. So, thank you all, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I think it was a very successful meeting. I will say I've probably been coming here, I think November was my first time. I probably came to maybe a dozen meetings. I've done one speech, and this is my second time being the Toastmaster of the day. And I'll tell you, it was much, much easier the second time around. So I encourage everyone to get involved, step up, and it's just a couple of speeches I've done, things are becoming much, much easier. So thanks everyone for listening to me tonight. And is there any announcements tonight that okay, so that's it. And I hope to see everyone next week, next Thursday at 6:15. If there's nothing else, meeting's adjourned.
And don't forget the photo at the end of our session today.
Okay, hold on now, because we were out with a little bit, we were going to do a rap, and when we were up there, I was like, dude, that was
Yeah, oh yeah, come to the front, everybody.
That could be your next step. I enjoyed it so much. Being authentic. What I appreciated was how much effort you put for us. You know, kind of like what I was saying to Simon and Rachel here.